Welcome to a new episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, and welcome to a new session of questions and answers. For everybody joining for the first time, we're doing these sessions every Tuesday at 5 p.m. GMT time, and this session is basically to discuss news in the Amazon space and also to bring you the answer for all the questions you guys been sending us for the last couple of days, and also answer your questions here in live to help you scale and grow your brand on Amazon. So before we get started with today's episode, I just, as I do with every single session that we do every Tuesday, to remind you to go check out our last episode on basically YouTube, podcast channels, and all the different platforms that we have where we share our content. And like yesterday, we just shared a new episode where basically we go in depth around how you can use Merchant Spring, which is an amazing tool to manage multiple marketplaces at the same time, and which you can actually also integrate with other e-commerce marketplaces. And it's a great platform if you're looking to expand your Amazon e-commerce business and you need one point of connection for all that data. So also, before we get started with today's episode, I also wanted to quickly remind to everybody that is here in the UK that on the 20th of October, I'm going to be speaking here in Brighton at AmaFest UK. So you can find your tickets there if you're here. Looking forward to see you there in Brighton. And also for everybody here in London, this Thursday, actually Thursday the 30th of June, Perpetua is going to be doing an event here in London. So it's going to be around networking and also talking around PPC strategies and things that I definitely think are going to be very useful for Amazon sellers in general. So if you also want to join that session, let me know. I will be more than happy to send you the information so you can get your ticket for that. Okay, awesome. So let's get started with some of the questions we've been receiving for the last couple of days. Also, if we receive any question live, I'm going to answer that. And then if I also see some specific question that can divert to or specific topics that I would like to touch during this episode as well, I will also do it during this transmission. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting some of the question in the screen, and we can then get started to today's session. So let's get started to bring some of the questions in the screen so we can then start covering all of them. Okay, so I think the first question of the day is, what are the best campaigns for launching new ASINs? So usually the best type of campaigns, and I've covered this on other episodes in the past, when it comes to launching new products into Amazon, I believe the best campaigns that you can create is be very aggressive on the campaigns that you want to rank on, right? And campaigns, sorry, I mean keywords. So why do you want to do that? Because it's super important that you position your product on the main keywords during the honeymoon period, because at the end of the day, if you position your product strong enough when it comes to basically the keywords that relate to your niche and your product, that's going to help you succeed when it comes in the long term and not rely so much on what we call a PPC. So that means the first thing that you want to do when you create your initial PPC campaigns, make an in-depth analysis of what the competition is doing, right? So basically analyze what other competitors are ranking organically, what the keywords are bringing the most sales for these competitors. And basically the way you can definitely find this is by using tools such as Helium 10, right? Or ZONGURU. Both amazing tools. So basically what you can do is you can go and analyze your top competitors and also analyze which are the keywords they are getting the most sales. And usually the best way to analyze which are these keywords is by simply finding which are the keywords where they're ranking on page 1. If you even want to go even further in terms of analyzing this data and then understanding things such as the ranking use, the saturation of some of these keywords and the competition, you can then also use a tool called GETIDA, which is by Brandon Young. Amazing tool. We also use it. And it's an amazing way to understanding which are the most important keywords you should be focusing from day one. So realistically, what you want to do is you want to focus on the campaigns that have the highest chance of you ranking up and there is less competition, but at the same time they have considerable high search volume. So you want to start with your manual campaigns. Usually you want to start with exact, phrase, broad campaigns. When it comes to placing keywords, make sure you do it strategically in terms of the search volume, and also you want to avoid having very competitive keywords combined with other very competitive keywords, because we know they eat each other budget. So make very good segmentation of keywords and campaigns. And you want to have those campaigns from day one, exact, phrase, and broad on your top performing keywords. For sure, you want to make sure that the keywords you're adding, in this case, in your exact match campaigns, you want to have them negated in your phrase and broad. So basically, the phrase and broad are going to use your initial exact keywords basically as a research seed keyword instead of targeting the same exact match, which you're already going to be doing with your exact campaigns. Other campaigns you can try, which sometimes it depends on the budget of the client. Some clients want to go very aggressive and explore multiple things from day one. You can also explore doing category targeting, basically targeting your subcategories. This usually means targeting other ASINs. So you can also filter down based on the reviews, based on the price, or also based on brands, for example, if you want to do that. Then what you can do is also product targeting. For product targeting, realistically, you want to target products where you have a chance. That means products that are very new in the market or have very little reviews or higher price than you. And then if your budget allows you, then you could also start with your automatic campaign from day one. Usually these campaigns and the structure are going to strictly be dependent on what is your budget, because if your budget is higher than normal in your launch scenario, you're going to have the freedom to test all the different campaigns from day one, right? Also take in consideration that for sure you keep good track of them and you are going into the relevant search terms. But if your budget is very limited, you want to go first focusing strictly on your manual campaigns and go on the keywords that you know 100% are very important for you to rank organically, because if you rank there organically, that means your sales are going to start coming organically, your tacos is going to go down, and your business is going to be profitable in the long term. I know maybe I'm missing some of the points because strategy usually for launch is much more complex than that, but I just gave you the high level explanation. If you have any further questions, feel free to drop me a message. We'll be more than happy to go in depth with you. Okay. Awesome. So next question, should I have a trademark from the beginning? So usually I recommend, all the people ask me, should I do a trademark from day one? Is that yes, and I'm gonna tell you the reason for that. I see so many times this mistake happen in the Amazon space, and I feel a lot of people see Amazon as a side hustle and they don't see it as a real business, you know? And number one mistake that is going to cause you is that it's going to change your mindset. And mindset is everything, just as the friend here, right? So why mindset is everything is because if you condition your mind that this is just a side hustle and I don't have basically I don't have a mission to make it work, right? And basically I don't make it a must, then you're not gonna basically work as hard as you must to achieve things, right? And this brings me to why I keep getting the question if I should do tripod or not, and why I think you should always do it. Because if you're seeing this as a business from day one and you understand how business in Amazon works in terms of expanding your brand, creating defensive mechanisms, doing risk mitigation, a trademark is a must. Trademark give you access to important tools such as, for example, brand register, brand analytics, for example, opportunity explorer tools. They give you access also to the A+ content, give you access to the Vine program, and Amazon Live. So many other tools that for sure maybe I'm missing right now, but I mean you get so much more just by having a trademark. So I understand it's an extra cost, but guys, this is a business. You need to understand that you need to go this seriously, and you can just think, okay, trademark, I'm just gonna do it to work. Because I'm telling you, if you go in an Amazon business with the mindset, if it works, I do that, you're gonna struggle, because it's just the way the mind works. If you don't put yourself a must that this should work as a real business, you're gonna find it very difficult. So definitely see it as a serious business from day one, And if this is a serious business, trademark is a must regardless. So you should have that protection for your brand, and you should have access from day one or as soon as possible to those extra tools, which give you an immense advantage when it comes to data and also featuring within the Amazon platform. Okay. Awesome. So the next question of the day is, what tacos should I be aiming for? So the tacos, to be honest, is gonna strictly be dependent on what is your strategic plan when it comes to your brand and your product launch. But I would say usually you're gonna have three scenarios, right? You're gonna have the launch process, then you're gonna have basically the optimization process, and then you're gonna have this basically the profit phase, right? So usually during the launch phase, realistically, the tacos can go from, I would say, from 50% all the way to 150%. I mean, realistically, this again a big range, but it's going to depend on what is your allowance in budget and what your product can withstand when it comes to expenses, right? So usually that's the range at the beginning. The end goal, guys, is not profitability, it's not tacos. The end goal is ranking, because without ranking you can be making ton of profit from day one, but after deploying all that capital and then you're remaining with that capital to keep investing, if the only way for you to make profit from day one was because you were investing so heavily in advertising, once that basically cash flow ends, you're going to have a huge dip if you are not focusing on ranking on the main keywords, and the keywords are huge for you. So focus on organic ranking. If you do that, I can guarantee you that the long-term tacos will come by itself, right? So you're gonna have the initial phase, which is launch. Again, 50 to 150%. That's usually what you're aiming for. Then you're gonna come down to what we call optimization phase, when you start really consolidating your campaigns, your data. Usually that's gonna happen after the second month, third month. Usually you start aiming there between 20 and 50% tacos, right? That's where you start cleaning everything up and consolidating in making sure you're being as efficient as possible. And the last is a basically phase of tacos, usually within 5 to 6 months. It's where you focus on profitability, right? Profitability is then where you're aiming already on a tacos between, I would say, a 7 to 15%. And this is where you go very granular in making sure you're being super efficient on your campaigns. This is the phase where you're not testing something new, you're going just on things that have been validated for the last 6 months, and you go into the phase of just making sure you double down on what has been working and remove the rest. Okay, so that's usually how I see it. Again, this is not it's a template that you can use for every single product or niches, because as we all know, competition is different from niche to niche, it's different from country to country. So this is just an initial example you can use, and then you can use that to adapt it to your specific product. I get the error that my UPC does not match the product I want to list. Why? Yeah, so this error, we're getting actually this concern lately that people buy the UPC on GS1, right? They buy it, they put the brand name, and then they go to Amazon, they put the UPC code, and they get the error that the UPC is not assigned to the brand name and the product you want to list. Usually this issue happens first because you're trying to do it like just after buying the UPC code. Sometimes you wait 24 hours to make sure the system is refreshed. And the second thing is most likely maybe you're typing the brand name wrong. So remember, when you're typing a brand name on your listing, where you're creating a listing, is capital sensitive and space sensitive, right? So that means just a single letter that is basically high caps, right? Or as spacing or a dot or whatever, is not going to make sure the system to connect with the GS1 system and check that the brand name used to register the UPC code is the same, and you're going to get generated an error. So make sure that's the same. If you know 100% is that's working fine, try to upload the listing with a flat file. Sometimes flat file can allow you to basically override this error, because sometimes the system throws you this error regardless of having everything correct. If that doesn't work, then you need to proceed to what we call customer support and try to scale this case with Amazon, try to get it solved. Okay, awesome. So how to advertise product with high search volume keywords? Yeah, so this is a tricky one. When you have a product, you have a lot of high search volume keywords. Usually, you're going to encounter yourself that you don't know what to prioritize, right? Because you have so many important keywords that we know for a fact that they're important based on the research, based on the search volume, relevancy, everything. That your budget can be difficult to divide among all these search, all these keywords, right? So the first thing that you need to do to avoid one of the huge mistakes I see every single time is put all these campaigns on all these keywords, sorry, on this on a single campaign. That's a super bad mistake. Why? If you put 10, 15, 20 keywords with a huge search volume, most likely one or two are gonna take all the budget, the rest is gonna slip. They're gonna know nothing, right? And the other bad thing of doing that is that as you start getting data and as you start understanding how the placement plays a big role on when it comes to the performance of your campaigns, you're gonna have a very difficult time to then segmentating which placement is working fine for which keyword, and you're not gonna have a big control on that, right? So the best thing that you can do, make sure that you create maximum campaigns between 1 and 3 keywords. Realistically, I want to keep it between 1 and 2, and then that is gonna, like, first of all, to segment a budget at the keyword level. Second of all, you're gonna have the control of the placement. That means 1 keyword per campaign. You can control the placement strictly to that keyword. And then the third thing is that you're gonna have at a quick glance, as soon as you jump into your account, which keywords are performing, which keywords are not. And instead of struggling to find out which keyword is not performing among 20, 30 keywords on the single campaign, you're going to have that at the keyword level, and it's going to be much, much simpler when it comes to optimization. So make sure you take search volume as part of your basically campaign structure and use it to segment test your campaigns based on that. Great. How should I divide budget between sponsor, products, brands, and display? So usually the percentage I like to use is around 70, 80% around sponsor products, and then the remaining 20, 30% between brands and display. The reason for that is very simple. Sponsor products is usually the one that's going to give you the biggest conversions in terms of sales and profitability. Sponsor brands and sponsor display are more for creating brand awareness, creating the halo effect, creating impressions. Is more for creating the initial intent to purchase rather than converting people that already has an intent to purchase. So usually you're gonna see less results with brands and display. Regardless, you should always have them, because if you're looking to build a brand, if you're looking to build a name, a presence on Amazon, these two other campaign times are key. But however, most of the budget should be used for sure on the sponsored product type of campaign. Awesome. So let's see which other question we're going to hear. How to get ranking after going out of stock? Yeah, this one. First of all, don't go out of stock, guys. I mean, going out of stock is a huge mistake. And I know most of the time it's not your fault. I mean, sometimes so many things are happening, and we are experiencing that with the brands we manage. Supply chain is becoming more tricky. Shipping across the globe is more expensive. Some delays, everything that's happening with the situations of the war, all that, we already know that. So for sure, sometimes it's not fully your fault, but make sure you avoid at all costs, right? So there are so many tools out there you can use for this. I mean, there is amazing tools such as, for example, eva, that allow you to do a stock planning, right? And you can also do that with your Amazon account. You can analyze basically your inventory performance and analyze, put information around your lead times, and Amazon allow you to give real-time data around your inventory. Also, helium time. I mean, there are huge tools out there you can basically implement to avoid going out of stock. Regardless, even if you go out of stock, you should basically design a strategy to put you on track where you were before, right? So the number one thing you should be doing is you should re-optimize your listing, because most likely if you went out of stock and you then start launching again, you want to make sure that that initial push you're giving to your listing, you're focusing 100% on your main keywords, which might have changed due to that 1-2 months period you were out of stock, or trends were shifting. So you want to make sure your listing is fully optimized according to the new trends, according to the new data. Once you do that, you also want to make sure you go very aggressive with your PPC campaigns. You basically want to make sure that you design a strong PPC campaign focusing on your history data and understanding which keywords were performing the best for your product across a history of your campaign. Go very aggressive on those and try to focus on the first month or two in trying to regain organic positioning. Try to focus less on what we call profitability and try to track all your keywords on a daily basis to make sure you get back on track where you were before. And eventually, if your conversions are on point and you did everything else right, you should be getting and hitting the same numbers in the long term. So that's usually the method we implement. Again, sometimes we combine this with things such as outside traffic, other strategies, but on the basics, usually that's the two main things you should be doing. Re-optimizing your listing, making sure you can change your images if there is an improvement you can do, and being very strategic with your PPC and focusing on the keywords that are a must for you to get ranked again. Awesome. Next question: do you recommend top placement or rest of the search? Um, Usually this, I mean, there isn't a right answer for this. I know, and we see all that maybe on a daily basis on social media and so that there is for sure placement that behave better than other, and that's just the nature. Top placement, usually you're gonna see 70% of the sales happening there on page one at the top. However, there are some niches where and some keywords that you may encounter that it perform better on rest of the search or product pages. So this is all about data, guys. There isn't a way for me to tell you just test top placement and go 100% on that, because realistically on some keywords you're gonna kill yourself in that sense. Basically, with the amount of budget you're gonna be spending, right? So it's gonna be very difficult to always keep top placement. So the thing that you wanna do is that basically you want to make sure that you understand which keywords are performing better at specific placement, and then based on the campaign structure, which is what I was explaining earlier, if you have aggressive segmentation of keywords and you have your campaigns very well organized, it's going to be easier for you to basically adjust the placement at the keyword level and make sure you take advantage of the placement that is behaving better for your specific keyword. Okay, so hopefully that should answer your question. At the end of the day, it's all about data, guys. So make sure you always have a look into your reports and make sure you take decisions based on that rather than speculations or whatever you see online, because in reality, each product is unique and you need to make sure you follow what your customers and what your market is telling you. Okay. Awesome. Let's see which other question we got in here. I think we have a last question. So, the question is this one: does Amazon PPC cost the top from Amazon balance or from my credit card? So, yeah, actually, this one, if you wanna take full advantage of taking the spend you're doing on a PPC, make sure you actually attach all your expenses to a credit card. And we actually advise this to our clients. You can use a credit card that basically give you cash back. So there are many payment providers out there that they give you that, or they give you points for traveling or rewards. And if you are spending a big sum of cash on PPC, I mean, we got clients that they're spending maybe, I don't know, 5-10,000, right, on a single day. So huge accounts, and if you multiply that by the amount of points and rewards you can get, is definitely can pay you a lot of trips and benefits to you and your family. So make sure you don't pay the PPC with your balance, right? Go through a business credit card and take advantage of those extra points you get for that. Okay. Awesome, guys. So yeah, I think that's everything for today. Answer most of the question. We still have some pending questions, which I'm going to be covering next week. However, if there is something that maybe it wasn't clear from the people that just send these questions, feel free to send me a message. I'm going to make sure to go more in depth and clarify your questions. Also, for everybody in here that maybe didn't have the time to ask any question, feel free to send them to our website. We have a contact from there or through social media pages, and we basically put them on backlog to keep covering them on each live session we do with you guys, so you can then watch it anytime you want. So finally, remember that on Thursdays we are actually doing this session also in Spanish. So if you have Spanish friends that maybe want to jump into the Amazon space and they're looking to receive support and understanding how the Amazon game works, feel free to share that link with them. And finally, remember, tomorrow we're going to be dropping a new episode. So we're going to have a very interesting episode tomorrow. So don't miss it up. And that's it, guys. So thank you very much for being here. So remember, if you like the content, to share it and subscribe. It allows to keep reaching amazing people like you. Wish you an amazing rest of the week. And take care, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.